Adil and Tikan. Next what? Tikan looks like a decent setup. Adil is just a pump stock. I don't know about this one, but this Tikan actually looks like there is some, you know, buying behind this thing. Looks like a decent setup. All right, let's see here. I sold Tesla and covered Peloton before the close yesterday. I needed to, you know, size down a little bit in my main account. I didn't like the weak close on it. It fell back into the base, but it is building higher lows. Tesla is building higher lows. Like if it starts taking out that mid high 430 area, I'm gonna rebuy it. Pretty much all my longs are building higher lows. That's a good sign. No, I never re-entered SCDG. I didn't see an entry. Well, there was like one day trading entry on it when it briefly reclaimed VWAP and then built that first red 5-minute candle. That was like a day trading type of an entry. But I don't day trade, so I couldn't care less. W and Zoom. What's the question with W and Zoom? SGMS? No, I don't think. Not yet. I don't know. Dada. Only if it gets some news and big volume. I don't like the setup itself. It's been going sideways, building higher lows, but it needs some kind of catalyst to get it to Pins flag. Yeah, kind of. But the entry was down here. This is where the entry was. Or here. Here and here. Those were the two entries. Shui, I think it triggered yesterday, right? Yeah, it triggered yesterday. Yeah, Sohu, this is like the 5th day in a row. Yeah, it looks kind of okay. Not super excited about this thing, but it looks decent. Yeah, JD is on my long watch list, as you can see. But it's a slow one. None of you should trade JD. It's a good setup, but none of you should trade it. Why? Because it's ADR 2.8. I'm not sure I'm gonna trade it. I don't think I will trade it either. It's just too slow. Yeah, Apple, you know what? Apple looks great. This thing it's holding the rising 50-day. It undercut it, built higher lows. Now it's just surfing the 50-day. And, you know, it's tightening up. It looks amazing. It looks like it wants to go back to 140. It looks amazing. Amazon too. This thing is also getting tighter. You know, I mean, you know, these mega caps are setting up nicely. And then NOx, yeah, maybe a few more days. Yeah, Zoom looks amazing. I talked about it like 20 times yesterday. Zoom looks amazing. Probably my main watch today. And W looks pretty good too. Tesla, well, yeah, the yesterday's candle kind of ruined the looseness or the tightness a little bit, but it looks fine. It looks fine. Look, if it starts breaking out that high 430 area, you know, it looks fine. It was just a little bit of a shakeout. Only reason I sold, I sold it for a profit, a small profit. Only reason I sold, I had to, you know, size down my margin a little bit. I didn't want to go crazy overnight, and I also covered Peloton, just to, you know, get down a little bit. Yeah, the wheat stocks woke up. A lot of these beaten down shitty sectors woke up yesterday. It was the same thing with the oil and gas names and the wheat stocks, and there was some other shit sector that woke up yesterday. I don't know if it's a good sign, to be honest. Usually when the shittiest sectors start waking up, that's near the end of a... That's usually before, you know, a pullback. Not always, but many times it is. The shittiest stocks are the ones that run the last many times. We'll see. We'll see. Not always. You know, all you need to be focusing on is, you know, the leading stocks. Leading stocks, leading stocks. They talked about the weed at the debate. Look, I mean, weed is gonna get legalized no matter what. You know, it's just, you know, it's just gonna happen. You know, sooner or later, it's one of these things. It's just gonna happen, right? Like, you know, if alcohol is legal, weed is gonna be legal too. It's gonna be like that in pretty much over the whole world. I think in 20 years it's gonna be legal everywhere, pretty much. It's just one of those things. Once the ball gets running, you know, you can't stop it. No, it's not. It's not legal in Sweden. Our communist government doesn't want to legalize it. LUV. It's not a leader. I wouldn't trade any of these airlines. LUV is the leading airline stock. I wouldn't be trading. You know, they're just. I think there's so many better ones. Better than the FUV. It's not really a momentum stock anymore. It kind of needs some news, I think. Too. VVPR. Yeah, I would say it's kind of late here. It's up 60% in pre-market, or 55. Unless it had some what's the news on VVPR, by the way? No, guys, I just talked about Tesla twice. No, I'm not gonna repeat myself for a third time in 10 minutes. Oh, wait, are they getting bought out? No, they're buying another company. Okay. Oh. Is it solar or electrical vehicles? Let's see here. Oh, okay, yeah, it's EV. Okay, oh, nice. That's hot. But yeah, I don't know, but it's already, this thing is, it's already a 10 bagger since summer. I don't know. I don't know. Can this thing go to 25 today? Absolutely. I just, you know, not for me. Oh yeah, oof. You know, I mean, if you really wanted to get it, you know, pre-market, you should have been on it earlier, right? When it, you know, started breaking out of the flag here and here. This is the third flag in pre-market. This, I don't see an edge here. How is OTRK after that breakout? Doesn't look too good. You know, it did put in another higher low in this pullback, but follow the sell rules. All you have to do is follow the setup. The setup was solid if you bought it on this day here. You know, now you just have to follow the sell rules. Not all breakouts go straight up. Sometimes they do, but you know, not all do. Oh, what the hell is this? What's this? Oh, it's Sanchez. Wait, didn't they have a... Oh, yeah, I remember this company. SN, right? No, Sanchez doesn't exist anymore. SN was the old ticker, I think. RNG is not a great trading stock. You can clearly see, look how choppy this thing is. It's an incredibly choppy stock. Like, you know, look at the past 6 months. It's just a, you know, don't trade this thing. There's no momentum. There's nothing here. I don't see any edge on this thing. Okay, market's gonna open. Let's keep the shadow to a minimum near the open. I'm gonna be watching Zoom. I'm gonna be watching W. Maybe the Solars for ad spots if they have some strength out of the gate. All right, the markets are open. Good luck, everyone. Okay, I bought a bunch of Zoom. I bought 10,000 shares opening range highs. This thing looks so good. Oh my god. Looks amazing. Alright, looks like things are continuing higher. I kinda wish I had put a little bit more of zoom, but it's always a feeling I get when I buy a stock that goes straight up from entry. RKT, I don't see anything here. You need to review the YouTube video. Looks like VVPR, this thing wants to make a move. XP, yeah, this thing broke out a couple of weeks ago from a very nice setup. Or actually had two decent setups. What was the other one? Shui? It's a bit of slower name, but yeah, it looked good yesterday. It's very slow though. How I know? I don't. I just know, it's based on experience. Like I see a good setup when I see a good setup. And for every good setup, there's 50 mediocre setups. You have to focus on the good setups. There's a lot of setups that look almost ready, but they're kind of not. You have to buy them right. It's like Mark Minervini says. It's not about buying them high or buying them low. You have to buy them just right, and it's so true. Well, Penn never broke out. It was setting up, but if it can reclaim VWAP, it could be a setup in a few days. W, yeah, it was a gap and crap. This is why you wait for the opening range highs, you know. This thing, just crapped out of the gate. Again, let the stock tell you it wants to go up. There's no reason to sit there and, guess. Let the stock start breaking out. There's no reason to sit there and guess which one will break out. Oh, EMPH. I think I'm gonna get stopped out of this thing. Well, that solar, I think it's great. I think these things I hope they keep going for another 50% next week, these solars. It's a good thing. The higher they go, the better. I'm gonna set a hard stop on EMPH. Opening range highs, well, if you review my YouTube video, you should know. It's the 1 minute, it's the 5 minute, it's the 60 minute. Guys, you know, if you bought NVAX yesterday, you follow the sell rules. Guys, there's a reason. Just follow the instructions on the screen. There's no reason to rocket science things. Just follow the sell rules. This is the reason I put the instructions on the screen, so I don't have to answer the same things 100 times per day. You're gonna be a millionaire because of you? Me? Really? Really? That's great. That's exactly what I want to hear. GBTC, it wasn't a breakout setup. It's more of like an episodic pivot, like what like Stockbee calls them. Like when a whole sector is kind of, you know, like breaking out of a range. Because this is not really a momentum trade. But you know, when a whole sector starts breaking out, that could be a start of a move. You're gonna blow up my account. Oh man, can I quote you guys on Twitter? You guys are funny. GoPro, episodic pivot, maybe. I don't know what the news were. Depends what the news were. Nari, no. It's not tight at all. No. IBAN, yeah, well, it's a crypto stock, right? So it's they broke out yesterday. So yeah, it could be nice. Yeah, the setup is good, and the sector started breaking out yesterday. So absolutely. The recent comments on the Paul Tudor Jones. He's not a Turkey guy. He's Paul Tudor Jones. Everyone should know who he is. Recent Brandy Love brought me here. Oh, who was? Oh man, that's too funny. Oh man, that's funny. Brandy Love brought me here. Oh man, you guys are sick. Everyone thumbs up the David Carvalho comment. Brandy Love brought me here on the Paul Tudor Jones video. Alright, thanks A1 I3N136. Man, guys, your handles are so tough to read, but thanks, man. I appreciate it. Can I quote you on Twitter? Stocks brought me here, Brandy kept me. Oh, it's Alien 136. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, I get it now. I get it now. It's so obvious when you... It was kind of obvious when you, after you said it. My brain couldn't put it together. JD, a very slow mover, but starting to move. Man. This thing had the most perfect breakout back in mid-August when it had earnings. All of you who were here remember that trade. Straight up. Why does IWM chart look weird? What's weird about it? Hey, did you watch? Did he say that? I actually didn't get it from him. I actually invented that myself, but maybe subconsciously I had heard him say that, and I just copied him. It's kind of funny if he says that in the video. I need to rewatch it, man. It's so good. Damn, Alien, I can't quote you on Twitter. There was too much text. I need to kind of size it down if it's okay. I'm gonna misquote you a little bit. I'm gonna remove some words. Oh yeah. I could screenshot it. Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea. I hate getting misquoted, yeah. I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna add a little bit to one of these solar names if they start, you know, losing VWAP, etc. Maybe. They're holding kind of well right now. VVPR halt. Oh, whoa, downside halt. That's not fun. Big volume, yeah, big volume. Looks like the Nasdaq is just trying to break out. Spies broke out like yesterday. Well, back to the Russell chart. There's nothing weird about it. I read somewhere that most of the market gains over the past 50 years have gone from the overnight gaps. That's why swing trading is superior. Because there's so much price movement in the overnight gaps. Amazon trying to break out. Oh man, the market looks just fine. It's just, you know, things are just going straight up. Or not straight up, but you know, a lot of things are just starting to break out. I like that. VIX. VIX broke out on this day here, but you would have gotten stopped out the day after. That's the problem with this one. Like back here, this was like a 4.5 star setup, but you would have gotten stopped out the day after. That's the problem. NVAX is a great setup. It tried to break out yesterday, kind of pulled back a little bit. Now it's retrying. Or you know, not a great setup, but it's a hot sector and it's a decent setup. It's surfing the 100-day, high ADR, hot sector. Absolutely, you know, this thing could go back to 150 in a flash if it gets momentum. Test. Oh man, oh please Tesla, don't break out today. Please don't do anything. I just can't buy anything more. I probably need to size down a little bit before the close. I'm gonna, maybe I'll get rid of Nvidia or something slow. Or ESTC is a very slow one also, 3.6 ADR. Oh my god, Fastly! Whew, I need to sell some more, I guess. Jesus Christ, this thing is straight up. Oh my god, what a mover. You know, buy them right and sit tight. Buy them right and sit tight, you know. This is why you focus on the momentum leaders. This is what a momentum leader does, right? This was the entry right here, opening range highs on this day here. Just when it started breaking out of this this range here. You know, one of the leading stocks. Boom. I also have high hopes for Zoom. This is why you focus on the momentum, you know, leaders and not some random stocks that happen to have a, you know, good setup. Like there's, you know, one of the main things in trading is get the randomness out of the equation. Like I pass on most setups, like 80% of good setups I pass because I just don't, you know, it's maybe some random stock in some random sector, or you know, they may not be a momentum leader, or you know, or maybe there's earnings coming up in a few days. Focus on the momentum leaders. Yeah, Livongo. Yeah, I hope this thing goes sideways a few more days. I would add to this thing if it breaks out. I'm already long it from this day here, but if it starts breaking out, I'll add to it. It has the look. I mean, this thing wants like 200. It feels like that. GP, yeah, it's a hot sector. Yeah, electric school buses, sure. The setup itself is maybe not the best, but you know, it's a hot sector and has a lot of momentum. It's surfing the 50-day very nicely. Snow, yeah, it's kind of IPO flagging a little bit here. I have an alert set for it. I took a $50,000 loss on it the other day because it didn't go. Yeah, DraftKings, that's the reason I sold it yesterday. It's below the 20-day now. You know, when the leading stocks start losing the key moving averages, you get out because it's telling you you know, they're not as strong anymore, and now it's weak. Yeah. Yeah, that yeah, I still don't really like the setup very much, but you know, like this breakout would be higher conviction if it had some kind of news. But it just looks very random. Overstock. Well, it already broke out. It broke out here. Now it's just grinding higher now. It already broke out. Yeah, but it's relentlessly building higher lows. But yeah, I think next leg higher is gonna be to like $100. Why would you like? Why did you sell DraftKings? I mean, oh, guys. I mean, please, guys. Okay. Look at the screen. Look at the stream right now. Okay, you should see. There's some text there in the lower part of the screen. Okay. There's two things you have to do. You have to type !about. You will get a link. You need to click it. You need to read it, okay? And then there's also !YouTube. You need to type it in chat. Press center. Click the link. Okay? Watch the whole video. It's just it goes through my simple breakout system, okay, with sell rules, with entries, with setups. Just, guys, please, I don't ask for much. Just follow, let's do those things, and then you follow the sell rules. You don't have to ask me stuff like that, like, oh, should I get out now? Should I have gotten out yesterday? Guys, the sell rules are super simple. You just need to put some time. It's disrespectful to everyone asking those things, all the time. Like, there's always a bunch of people who... Yes, in the Twitch chat. Just do it, guys. Like, guys, come on. It says very clearly, before asking anything, type this. Like, why is it so hard to understand? It's a waste of everyone's time, me having to repeat the same things 50 times per day. Like, if you... Yeah, but you also have to watch the YouTube video. Like, if you sold DraftKings today, you didn't follow the sell rules. And I trade them a little bit differently since I have a very big account, and I have a more of a portfolio approach. But I've outlined some very simple sell rules. Like, it's so simple. It's you almost can't do wrong. If you're not an asshole, type this. Yeah, I know. There's always gonna be new people who don't follow the instructions. They just, post a bunch of stuff anyways. You're right. I should just ignore those comments and those questions, when it's obvious. When people haven't followed the instructions. I should. But I want everyone to succeed. That's the problem. That's why I keep repeating things. I shouldn't have to repeat. You need to have an entrance test. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That would be great. There should be some kind of a test, like a 20 or 30 question questionnaire You have to answer. You have to get like 90% of them correct to join the stream. Again, like I don't want to have as many followers as possible. I only want quality followers. Like I only want people who are who truly want to learn trading. Who are tired of, losing money, or, not making not having the success they want to have. That's the type of people I want, who truly want to improve themselves. Who are tired of, following alerts and losing money and not understanding what's going on. And they're tired of it. And they want to learn. Apply to David. Yeah, where's David? I don't think David has said something. I'm gonna mute him anyway. Where is David? Wait. He's sleeping? You're here? There you are, David. He's vacuuming, yeah. David is vacuuming. He vacuums his house the first 30 minutes after market open. I'm busy, don't bother me. He's probably cleaning his keyboard or something with a toothbrush. I have a lot of dust between my keys. I don't know how to like clean it. It doesn't work vacuum cleaning it. Maybe I'll have to buy a new one. Washing machine, yeah. Blow it. With my tongue, yeah. All right, let's see what's going on. This LAC, I think maybe in the next 5 to 10 days there could be a setup here, maybe, potentially. I'm trailing it with the 50-day moving average. I think it's almost a 10 bagger this year, but the volume it's had the past 3-4 weeks, it's just suddenly had a big volume. I would love to triple, quadruple my position in this thing. I only have 20,000 shares from like 650 or something, or $6. But yeah, I still think if in this market this thing could go to 30, 40. So most of my swings, like I do it a little bit differently, since I trade a lot of slower stocks than I recommend you guys to trade. But I kind of trail most of my positions with the 20-day moving average, like something like SC. Like if it loses the 20, I'm out, or if it closes below the 20. Beyond Meat, the same thing. Right now it's about break even, but as soon as the 20-day catches up, I'm gonna trail it with a 20-day. Nvidia, the 20-day. NIO, the 20-day, Twitter, the 20-day, Zillow, Livongo, ESTC. But as you know, I recommend you guys use the 10-day, because I recommend you guys to trade a little bit faster type of stocks, like ESTC, like ADR 3.6. Like none of you should be trading this thing. You should stick to stocks that have ADR of 5+, like CrowdStrike, 4.1 ADR. Beely 4.1, and also trail it with a 20-day. CS 3.6. Man, I'm in a lot of slower type of stocks. I didn't realize that. A PLL ADR 18. This one I'm trailing with a 10-day. But all the other one, T-Dog is a bit faster, but I'm still trailing it with a 20-day. And Zoom. I'm gonna use the break even as long as possible, and I'm gonna trail it with 10-day probably. Since it's already kind of extended, I think it's gonna have one leg higher, and if that starts, that first leg starts to fail, I think I'm gonna get out. I don't think it's gonna be a type of stock that has a leg higher, pulls back, goes sideways, has another leg higher. just because it's already kind of extended. This is, you know, a little bit like squeezing water out of a rock, this type of a setup. But, you know, sometimes they can work really well. Like, for example, I have a $3.50 stop on it, and this thing could easily go up like $100. I mean, the risk reward is just, the potential risk reward is, you know, amazing. But, you know, right now it's not as explosive as I would like it to be. And then we have fastly, also a little bit faster name, but I'm trailing it with a 20-day. So the ones that are coming out of solid long bases, I'm trailing with a 20-day, and the very fast moving ones and the ones that are already extended, I'm trailing with the 10-day, like Zoom. Keyboard cleaner.
Oh.
Interesting. Man, they really have everything. Keyboard goo? Really? Keyboard goo? Oh man. You can even clean the air thingies in your car with the keyboard goo. And your AC too. You can clean everything. Interesting. W? It was a trap? What was a trap? It never triggered. This thing never triggered. If you get stopped out of a stock, you need to wait for a new setup. Setup, setup, setup. Sometimes stocks are gonna shake you out and then they're gonna go straight up, right? But if there's no setup, you don't rebuy it. Think in setups, guys. Once you start thinking in setups and not, you know, feelings, opinions, someone else's feelings, someone else's opinions, you're gonna make so much money you don't know what the hell to do with it. Okay? You only, once you learn the language of setups, you need to spend hundreds, probably thousands of hours just studying past leading stocks from the past, you know, many decades. You know, it's the same patterns over and over again. If you don't see the pattern, you don't trade it, you know? You only need one bull market to get filthy rich. You need one bull market. If you know the setups, if you have solid risk management, you know, you need one bull market and you will have more money than you know what to do with it. Trust me on that one. If your small account can double every month, probably not. In my trading career, I've only doubled my account in 1 month, I think once or twice. Yeah, you should just sit, you know, look for the big past movers in TC2000 on the monthly chart, and then you go to trading view, or if you get e-signal, you can look at the daily charts, and you just look at the patterns. It's the same patterns over and over and over again. Exactly. What do you do with all the money? That's the point you're gonna get to once you start thinking in terms of setups. 300% on average every year. Not every year, but yes, on average. It's not crazy. It's totally doable. Once you start thinking in terms of setups, and it won't be crazy. What's crazy is people buying and selling random stocks because of random data points. Oh, it's going up. Oh my god, I need to be in it. I'm gonna buy it here. Oh, it's going down. It's gonna go to 0. I need to sell it here. That's crazy. But if you have solid setups with solid entry and exit rules, with position management, with solid position management, risk management, you will have, you know, 100% year is gonna be a very achievable. 200% year, 300% year, and a very good market. You can easily do 500-600%, and it won't be crazy. What most people do is crazy. Having good returns is not crazy. It's expected. Once you have a solid process. How do you know my strategy? Well, it's a wild guess. If I have losing months, yeah, I usually have 2-3 losing months per year. 2-3 losing months on average. I always have at least one, yeah, 1 or 2 at every year. I haven't had a single year where I haven't had at least 2 losing months, I think. And some years I have 3-4, but 1 or 2 is minimum. NVAX is starting to go. mRNA is getting really tight. It's kind of funny. Insiders, like every single insider has sold a lot of shares the past 6 months, and yet this thing can't go lower. It's setting up again. It's amazing. What an amazing stock. Like, I wouldn't want to invest in something where the insiders, like every single insider has been selling a lot of shares. I wouldn't want to own that stock. I don't care what they do. I don't care how exciting it is. I want to be in a stock, like if I was an investor, right? I would like to be in a stock where the management and the CEO have a lot of shares and are maybe even buying more. That's the type of stock I would want to own. But that's the power of momentum, right? In the short term, nothing else matters than momentum. That, you know, momentum trumps everything in the short and mid term. Wait, Minervini has an 18,000 page chart database on paper? Holy fucking shit. And guys, that's what you have to do. I think 18,000 may be a bit overkill, and especially on paper. But you know, if you have like OneNote or Evernote or something like that, there's no reason why you should. You know, everyone should build a chart database, like a pattern database, right? At least a couple of thousand, you know, setups, and then you trade those setups over and over again, right? Like I have 3 setups and variations that I trade over and over again. I don't do any rocket science at all. Are setups bound to stocks or stocks? No, setups are... No, they're not bound to any specific stocks. They can happen in any stock. They're not bound to any specific stock. Plug and Shake S, yeah, I hope they all go higher. Like if Shake S could go to 80 next week, that would be awesome. plug 25. Hey, please, please, please do it. Tesla, like Tesla is putting in a nice tight candle today. If it can keep this tightness today, this is gonna be a 5-star setup for Monday. And even if it, you know, as long as it doesn't put in a white candle. Like, you know, this is setting up like a 5-star. I mean, this thing wants to go to 600. It feels like that. It's an amazing. I mean, I just don't have the buying power. Like right now, I would have, if the market was closing now, I would have to get rid of something or size down a bunch of stuff. Beyond Meat looks like it wants to pull back to the 10-day. It's straight up from entry. I sized down a little bit yesterday. Maybe I'll size down a bit more. We'll see. I used exponential moving averages on the 60-minute charts. It doesn't matter. Like, guys, you can use any moving averages. Just make them work for you, right? You know, it doesn't matter. It's just a visual guide. Doesn't matter if exponential, front weighted, simple. You know, it doesn't matter. You just have to make them work for you. Like I found the 10, 20, 50. 100, 200, 150, they work really, really well on momentum stocks. But you can try anything. You could try anything. You could do the exponential ones. You could try the other moving averages. You know, just make sure they work on the momentum stocks. Okay. Make sure they work. That's the main thing. You need to go back, look at thousands of stocks over the past decade, past decades, and make sure they work. You don't want anything random. You want very specific results. Yeah, margin is not something you're entitled to. It's something you deserve. If you haven't at least doubled or tripled your account this year, you have no business using margin. No business using margin at all. XPEL is a thinner stock, but yeah, it's kind of setting up. Looks okay. Not a momentum leader, but I guess it looks good. So Citron is kind of positive on Chewy. Yeah, that's interesting. I actually owned Chewy at the IPO. I wanted to invest in it. But then it took out the IPO lows and I sold it. I mean, like the Amazon of Africa, it feels kind of powerful. If they succeed, it's gonna be a 100 billion market cap company. But right now they're just a money losing machine, and there's not much growth in it. They actually had negative revenue growth. This is not what you want to see. This is not what you want to see from an e-commerce company. These numbers should have blown up. The fuck just happened? One of my YouTube tabs just... Okay. NIU, breaking out. Well, it actually broke out here. This is just a continuation move. This was the breakout when it broke. This is where it broke out of the range. YouTube. Yeah, it was YouTube. Yeah, there is Koifin. Koifin is pretty good. There is like I guess like Finwiz. I think you can see the numbers also. There are other sources. Koifin is pretty good. Yeah, Adon Finance. Yeah, that one also. Yeah, Market Smith. Yeah, man, that's a boomer company, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm they like 10 years behind with like the technical features. Like the sharding is so fucking bad. It's like, oh my god. That's what happens when your company only employs boomers. Hey David, are you a boomer? David, are you a boomer? Or is David the greatest generation? His hearing aid is not in. 53 is a boomer? Guys. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, guys. This is why I always get so annoyed when people haven't followed the simple instructions on the screen. Look at what Pop Harry 3 just wrote in chat. Like, everyone needs to do it. Okay? I don't want to hear any questions. Hey, should I sell this thing here? Like, where should I sell? Like, it's all there, right? There's a reason the instructions are there. So I don't have to answer, like, the same things 50 times over. Everyone should do what Pop Harry 3 did. That's how you learn. You need to internalize the concepts. You don't have to do exactly the same things, but you know the concept. Like, why is it there? Like, why do you sell a partial into strength and trail the rest, right? You need to understand the concepts. Okay, David, you're not a boomer. David, are you a millennial? You're busy. David is not a millennial. He's not a boomer. He's just busy. Dan Shapiro. Dan Shapiro, I think his service is great if you want to day trade. Yeah, he has a lot of lines on his charts. I know, but but his method, his process is solid. You don't have to use as many lines on the charts. Hey, Pop Harry, can I quote you on Twitter? I'm gonna screenshot what you wrote. That was really nice. Everyone needs to do what Pop Harry did. Yeah, I know. It's not easy. Trading is hard. It's hard. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, or one of the hardest things. or at least trade. Well, trading itself is not hard. Trading successfully is hard. Trading is very easy. Just open a brokerage account and you start buying and selling. It's the easiest thing ever. There's absolutely no what is it called? Threshold. Just get into it. Boom, you're a trader. But profitable trading, that's another thing. Yeah, absolutely. And especially trading without the process and without the setup, that's the most frustrating thing ever. I should put a folder with Brandy Love. You mean like this? Is this is what you want, guys? Oh man, yeah, I'll leave it there. Just to troll with people. This is pretty fun. Brandy Love. Oh yeah. Those of you who don't know, Brandy Love is the great-grandchild of one of the greatest traders ever, Jesse Livermore. Oh yeah. No, I have no. What HDD collection? I don't know what you're talking about. I have no memory of that. The stocks are not the only things rising with her. Yeah, maybe not. Oh man. This NIO, man, this thing is flagging so nicely. Still building higher lows. Getting tighter and tighter. I like it. Maybe next week. Maybe next week it goes to 25 plus. Oh shit, I'm very close getting stopped out of this EMPH. Well, I guess the short solar names didn't work this time around. The higher they go, the better. Or if they build flags, I miss them. I'm so frustrated. I miss the solar names. Like, I clearly saw them breaking out a couple of weeks ago, but I just, you know, I was focused on this software names, like the internet, the software names. That's where, and some of the a little bit of semiconductors and stuff like that also. and EVs, but I just didn't do any solar names. I should have done one, like SCDG broke out, EM from a nice decent flag. EMPH had a really nice little breakout. There were several ones. This one, CSIQ, FSLR wasn't a good looking one. CSIQ was a really good looking one on this day here. But yeah, JKS. Oh, this one didn't have a setup. But yeah, I saw them breaking out. I just passed on the whole sector. But that's fine. That's fine. Like as you can see, like almost my whole portfolio is internet and software related names. And then I have some random like EV related and like semiconductor names also. Do I ever buy and anticipate? Well, if you watch the YouTube video, you would know. Wait, what? When having a small account, do you think it makes more sense to have more positions with lower percent allocation of your account or less? Well, if you have a tiny account, bigger allocations are, But I would never recommend anyone to have more than 25% of their account in any single stock. Yeah, watch them. Well, you always buy on a breakout. I pretty much never anticipate any moves. As soon as they start moving, that's when I buy. And sometimes I add once they confirm, but it's not like, like Tesla. I think it's a great setup. It's not like I'm buying it here in anticipation of a potential breakout over like yesterday's highs. No, I would never do that. I want this thing to actually start breaking out. I want the stock to tell me it wants to go higher. I don't want it to tease me. I'm gonna wait for the stock to tell me, hey, I'm ready now. That's when I want to buy it. Yeah, he is. I don't agree with anticipation. I don't think. I mean, look, you can absolutely, you can trade. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I do personally. I find it's better to wait for the breakout. Just when it starts breaking out, that's when you buy it. Have you got an end trading goal? No. LMND. Yeah, it broke out yesterday. Kind of reclaimed the 50-day. Yeah, if it builds, if it like has a run up and then pulls back, goes sideways, builds a flag, that's when I would get interested. The problem with anticipation is, okay, like let's say, you know, the thing is you want to maximize your profit, okay? You want to like compound your money as fast as possible. Like let's say I buy Tesla here because I think it's gonna go to 600, you know, over the next month or two, right? But what if it takes this stock 3 or 4 days of consolidation before it finally breaks out? That's 3 or 4 days my money sits there. It's dead money, okay? It's wasted potential. You don't want to sit in a stock that's not moving, unless it already had a nice run up and it's just, you know, pulling back or consolidating. You know, that's why you want to, you know, I prefer to buy when they start moving higher. Like Zoom, right? Like this thing has been a favorite setup of mine, you know, in a few days, now. But what if you bought it, I don't know, 2 days ago? You would have sat in it for 2 days for no good, right? That's also, you know, you want to maximize your profits. If you want to have, you know, 100, 200, 500% years, you know, you can't sit in stocks that are not moving, you know. Especially in a bull market like we are in now, when things are breaking out daily. Like there's so many, you know, things are breaking out daily. Sitting in a stock that's, you know, that you think will go, but, you know, but not, it's not going yet, it's just a waste of time. It's a huge waste of time. Yeah, yeah. What if this thing had broken down today, right? Just like Penn did. Like let's look at Penn. Like this was also a good setup, right? What if I had bought it in anticipation, right? And then it broke down. That could have happened to Zoom also. I mean, you know, I'd rather have the stock prove itself. That's just me personally. Look, if you have a solid process, solid risk management, you have back tested your strategy, either if you do it mechanically, if you're an algo trader, or if you're a discretionary trader, you do it manually. Like you can trade whatever the fuck way you want, but you need it to be solid, okay? You can't do random things. Everything you do, there has to be a reason for it, and you have to prove, you have to be able to prove that it actually works, that it has worked for many decades, that it has worked for 100 years. The same setups I trade now, if I go back at market leaders from the 1920s, it's the same things. It's exact same setups. If I look at the market leaders from the 1950s, it's the exact same setups. And if you have a setup that occurs over and over again, you know, trade it. There is no right or wrong way to trade if you make it work. If it's something that actually works, that's not just some random noise. Oh, EMPH, looks like I got stopped out. Took a $64,000 loss on this thing. On the shares that I didn't cover during the day. Looks like gold and silver are breaking out again. This is a pretty decent setup. I like this. This was the bull flag of bull flags. I was super excited about this thing, and you know, if I had anticipated it, you know, it never broke out. It was dead money, and I would have taken a loss on it if I had anticipated breakout. I did buy a starter on this day, but I took like a tiny loss. But it never broke out. But you know, like. It's better to just wait for things, you know, the stock or a ETF in this case, to tell you what it wants to do. You want to be in a stock only when it's moving, right? The principle of swing trading, like stocks move in stairs, okay? Now this is an ETF, solar ETF, but this is, you know, it has a leg higher, goes sideways or pulls back. This is how all leading stocks move. Every stock that's made a big move moves this way, except for like micro caps and nano caps that can, you know, go up 1,000% in one day. Those, they trade differently. But this is how leading stocks move. Have a leg higher, it's like a stair, right? Go sideways, have a leg higher, go sideways, have a leg higher, right? Your job is to avoid it. Now this thing didn't really have any like long sideways periods, but your job as a swing trader is to buy it just as the next leg higher is starting, okay? You don't want to buy it here, you want to buy it here, just at the right time. You don't want to buy it cheap, you don't want to buy it expensive, you want to buy it right, okay? Like, you know, I see, you know, I've seen some comments in the chat, you know, in the past, like yesterday, I think, you know, someone asked me if I like a stock, and, you know, I was like, only if it breaks out from this area, and, you know, that person said, hey, wow, well, I guess I can get in cheap right now. But that's not the mentality you want to have. There is, you know, if you want to get things on the cheap, you know, it works if you are like a value investor, you're an investor with a long-term trading, like investing horizon. It doesn't work in trading. Okay, you want to buy it just right. You don't want to buy it here. You want to buy it here. This is how every stock moves. Let's look at some random stock, like I don't know, Fastly, right? This thing you know, this thing I've traded several times. Had a leg higher, right? Went sideways. Then it gapped up on earnings. I know several people, including me, bought it on the earnings. Has another leg higher, goes sideways, right? Has a leg higher, goes sideways, has a leg higher. Then it kind of pulled back and, you know, built a big sideways step. And where did I buy it? Right here. Right here is where I bought it. When it started breaking out of this step, right? And now it's building another step higher, you know? And once you're able to identify these setups, you're gonna make so fucking much money. You're gonna feel filthy. It's all about pattern recognition and understanding what stocks you want to own and, you know, what the patterns are. It's the language of setups. It's an art. And Genius, this is a microcap stock. It's the same thing. Had a leg higher. Oh, sorry. Had a leg higher. Had a little bit of sideways. Now, microcaps can move really fast. This is an extreme example. Had a leg higher. What the hell? Why can't I do a line? What? Weird. Had a leg higher. Wait, why can't I do a line here? Okay, now went sideways, had another leg higher, and that was the end of the move in this case. The same patterns over and over again. Getting out of... Guy, you shouldn't even trade Apple. It's ADR 3.2. You shouldn't even trade this thing. It's a good setup, but it's the wrong type of stock. If you want to compound your money aggressively, this is not the type of stock you should trade. You should focus on stocks that have ADR of 5+. Guys, man, there's so many people that write when I'm having my rants. Takes me like 10 minutes to catch up with the chat. Okay. I hope someone recorded that rant. You can do clips on Twitch. You can go back and record, like if anyone can do it, like the past 10-15 minute rant I had. If they could make like a video on it on Twitch and save it. Max 60 seconds. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's okay. Never mind then. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it was a good rant. Fuck you, David. You muted the rant. But how did you know I was gonna rant? And when did you know how did you know when to unmute? There's something fishy about that. I don't think you muted that rant. I think you listened. Candice? Who is Candice? I don't know who that is. From New York City? Okay. Well, if the breakout you're buying is reversing many times, you know, it stops you out, you know, you're probably not buying the right type of stocks and not the right type of setups. I mean, you know, a lot of breakout attempts are gonna fail, especially in choppy markets. Like my win rate is about, I think it was 25% last year. This year it's a bit higher because it's just an epic year. But you know, I'm up like what, I don't even know. Maybe close to 400%. Nah, not, oh, maybe a bit over 300%. I don't know exactly. And my win rate has been maybe, I don't know, 30%. Getting stopped out is normal. It's all about taking small losses and letting your winners run. That's the key in swing trading. I can take 10 losses in a row, and then if one stock starts working, I'll make that money back several fold. Do I play airlines like Delta? I don't play anything, and I trade anything that has momentum and good setups. I don't play anything. Get the word play out of your dictionary if you want to become a successful trader. Oh wait, you bought the workhorse today, but it's not breaking out. It's well below yesterday's lows or highs. Sorry, this is just in the side of a range. That's your answer. It wasn't a good setup. There's no setup here. Where's the breakout? It's just in a range here. It needs to break out. Like guys, if the stock is below yesterday's highs, it's not a breakout. It's not a breakout. That's the, you know, that problem is solved. It wasn't the setup. There was no setup there. Yeah. He's breaking out on a 1 second chart. Yeah. Yeah. This thing could be a good setup. If it can go sideways, build higher lows for a few more days and tighten up in this triangle here and then break out, that could be a really good setup. That could be a potential 5-star setup in the next 2, 3, 4 days. But right now it's just a bit too loose. And you know, there's no breakout here. It's just still inside of this range. Yeah, Zoom is a breakout today. This is what a good breakout looks like. This is a 5-star. I wish it wasn't this extended, but you know, look, you know, I think it could go to 600. I really think so. It's not, you know, 600, it's not even a big percentage move. That's like 20% move. And this is what you're looking for. Like my risk on this thing is $3.50. Okay, if I get stopped out, I will lose, unless it's like a big gap down overnight, but you know, $3.50 is my risk on it, okay? And if it goes to 600, I'll make more than $100 on it. I'll make like 110 bucks on it. That's like 30 times my initial risk, okay? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a risk reward in swing trading, minimum 1 to 10, minimum. Some stocks are gonna give you 20, 30, 50 times your initial risk. Obviously, you scale out on the way up, etc., and you're not gonna sell the absolute top because you know why, and well, you should know why. And if you don't know why, you haven't followed the instructions on the screen. But that's the concept. That's how you can make a lot of money, have super explosive returns with only a 30% or 25% win rate. Plug. Weakening intraday, I don't see a setup here. It had a good setup yesterday. Today, it's just, I don't see anything here. It needs to get extended again. Break out from this little consolidation, and then you'll go straight up towards 25.30. Workhorse on August 3rd. August 3rd. Or I bought Workhorse. I bought it on August 3rd. I lost like 100 grand on it because it didn't go. I had a lot. I think I had 150, 200,000 shares of this thing. I ended up losing like 100K on it. It didn't go. And then it had a good setup here and another good setup here, but I passed on these two setups, and then another good setup here, but you would have gotten stopped out if you bought this setup here. So sometimes, you know, stocks do this, like they have multiple setup on setups. Look how perfect this thing is. Kept building higher lows, then it had a range break here, right? Pulled back a little bit, put in a very tight range, kept building higher lows. Had another breakout day, pulled back a little bit, found another higher low, broke out again, pulled back a little bit, then it went. They do that sometimes. Sometimes they don't go straight up. Hey, congratulations, David. 27 years of marriage? That's some boomer stuff right there. Congrats, David. That's really awesome. Enjoy your weekend, David. Now fuck off. You as well? Do you mean enjoy your weekend or fuck off when you say you as well? I don't know which one of my comments you said you as well to. Oh, okay, so you as well to both. Okay, both. Okay, thanks, David. See you on Monday. Yeah, Wallenstam, that's exactly the point. Look at what Wallenstam just wrote in chat. I had over 20 losses in a row. Wait, 20 losses in a row? Holy shit, that's pretty extreme. But the one that worked, apps, has almost covered all of those losses, and now everything is working. Yes, that's the thing. You can take a lot of losses in a row, especially when the market is kind of choppy, but you still want to try things out, but maybe on smaller size. And then you start buying something and they start working, and then you buy more, and then they start working, then you buy more. That's the whole thing. You want to keep your size small when things are not working, and when things start breaking out and going and holding and going higher, that's when you start buying more. That's how you build a portfolio. And that's how you get on margin eventually. Like apps, I still regret I passed on it. This was such a good setup. I know several people in chat bought it, including Wallenstein. Cheyi, well, this is definitely not a setup I trade. It's up 40% today. It's a reverse split. It's one of these microcap pumps. I mean, you can definitely trade these things if you're really quick, but it's not really what I trade. All right, trevlig helg på dig också. NFE short? No, I don't see anything here. I mean, look, it could work, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not really a good setup. I don't think so. Maybe if it goes sideways a bit more and builds more lower highs, but nah, I don't know. Not really a type of setup I look for. Wait, what? You bought it on a breakout, you got stopped out 2 days later? Why did you get stopped out? You wouldn't have gotten stopped out if you had followed the sell rules. That's why the sell rules are there for, guys. There's a reason. You are your own worst enemy. So you got stopped out on the 17th, right? Yeah, the market had a big down day that day. Big gap down, and yeah. And look at what this thing did. It gapped down and went green, took out previous day's highs. This is why you follow price action, not anything else. Doesn't matter what Trump tweets. That doesn't matter if what China does. You just follow your rules, Ignore everything else. This is the reason. You sabotaged yourself. You shot yourself in the foot. This is what why sell rules are for. Yeah. This is why, you wait 3 to 5 days, then you sell a third to half, stop the break even, and start using the 10-day moving average as a trailing stop. Like, you would still be in this thing if you just had followed the 10-day moving average sell rules, right? On this day, it closed right on the 10-day, right? Now, okay, technically it did close below the 10-day on these 2 days, but it was still above this day's lows, right? So it's fine. Like, maybe I can clarify something. Like, if it closes above below the 10-day, but it's still like above the previous day, it's fine. That's what I did on Penn. No, not Penn. DraftKings. That's what happened to. No, it's not a good example. I can't remember a good example. Oh no, now Tesla is starting to move. Please do not break out today, Tesla. Please do not. I cannot buy more stuff. Yeah. You bought Peloton of 92.60? Well, I would be proud if you bought it on a good setup, but wait, 9260? Where is that? That's somewhere here. I don't see a good setup here. Like this day it had a decent setup. I would have preferred more sideways, but like on this day, but the highs on this day is 90. So no, I am not proud of you. You know, I'm not proud of you. It doesn't matter if the stock goes higher after you buy. You need to buy off solid setups. You can't chase. I don't know where you bought it. 9260, it's like somewhere here. I'm not impressed if someone buys a stock, but it's not on a solid setup, but yet it happens to go up anyways. I'm impressed if someone buys on a solid setup with specific, guys, if you want to make it in this game, you need to have very specific entries, okay? Very specific setups. There's a lot of randomness, okay? Sometimes you're gonna miss some great stocks, and sometimes you're gonna get in stocks that go down after you buy them. But you need to do it of solid setups. Like Peloton, you know, I missed personally. I wanted this thing to go sideways a bit more. It was on my watch list, but if it had just gone sideways one more day here, put in a tighter day, then I would have been all over it. But you know, it broke out and it went, and I missed it. And that's fine, because there were dozens of other things that broke out of solid setups and went higher, right? That's fine. You know, you're not gonna catch all of them. Wow, a lot of things are starting to break out today after. No, I buy opening range highs. Like okay, look at let's like okay, forget the concept opening range highs. Okay, you see a range, right? Something like Zoom. Like forget the 1 and 5 and 60-minute opening range highs. You want to buy it, okay? You don't want to buy it here. You don't want to buy it here, okay? You want to buy it, okay, when it takes out this range, when it starts taking out this range. That's when you want to buy it, okay? Forget about I think a lot of people get so confused by the opening range highs. You want to buy it just as this stock is starting to break a range, okay? That's when you want to buy it. You don't want to buy it too high, okay? You don't want to buy it when it's already up 5% above that area. You don't want to buy it here, okay? You want to buy it as soon as it takes out that area. Let's take an example of Tesla, okay? Like I don't want to buy it here. I want to buy it as soon as it starts to break out over this red line area, okay? That's when I want to buy it. But it needs to go higher while I buy it. Okay? HEQ, yeah, HEQ is a triple silver ETF. I think it's a decent one. Like silver pulled back, had a big run earlier this year, went sideways, pulled back, found support on the 100-day. It's building relentlessly higher lows, and it took out this little range here. I think it's a decent setup. It could work. Gold looks like a similar setup. It's a bit choppier though. The HEQ looks exactly like silver does, SLV. I mean, I think it's a decent setup. The problem with these commodities is they can gap a lot. Like I wouldn't do a lot of size in this thing necessarily, but you know, this thing could easily go back to 60. I think it's a decent setup. Kodak is starting to break this range. Now this could also be a very explosive setup. I'm not gonna trade it; it's too thin for me. But you can clearly see the range here on the 60-minute chart, right? Building higher lows, and now it's been getting tighter and tighter, okay? You don't want to buy it on this candle here. You don't want to buy it on this, like this candle here, right? You want, you know, this was a potential setup right here. But this one failed, okay? And now, you know, it's just starting to break this range. Could be a potential setup. Now, I'm going to pass on it. It's just way too low volume. But this is a very explosive stock, you know. You blink and it's going to be at 15 bucks. It's that type of a stock. ADR 12.5. This thing, yeah, you know, it's super explosive. Could go. You need to buy it right, just as it starts breaking out, okay? You don't want to buy it the way, you know, too much above the breakout area. You got to be ready. That's why you build watch lists. Before the market opens, you need to have your watch list ready, okay? And you need to be ready. Like Zoom today, this was my main watch today. Or it was actually my only watch today. Let's look at the 1 minute chart without the pre-market data. Here it is. So what it did is it gapped up, it sold off on the first 1 minute candle, okay? So now it had an opening range high, okay? So I knew that high of the first candle, that was the highs of the day. So I put a order for 10,000 shares, okay? Next candle, it kept going lower, and then it suddenly reversed and went straight up. And my average is like 488, 49, 40, 48, 488, 48, okay? Very specific entry, opening range highs. I had a little bit of slippage, right? That's where you want to buy it. And it would have been fine to buy it 490, 492 also, you know, because it was still kind of early. But I wouldn't necessarily want to buy it here, right? It's all about being ready for the setups. And now Kodak is starting to move. Why because that's not how it works. Connecting some random points, I don't believe in that type of, you need to, it's the overall trend. Like these undercuts and overshoots, they're normal. You want to see the overall trend. You can see a lot of these trend lines and triangles I draw, they, you know, the price moves both above and below them. It's overall, you want these undercuts and overshoots. You want those. You want those false breakdowns and false breakouts. That's where you build setup strength. There's a lot of you know, examples, like something like Fastly, right? You know, you need to look at the overall trend, right? When I bought it here, right, I draw this trend line and this trend line and this trend line. You know, it's all about visualizing the setup. And Zoom too, right? We had several overshoots, didn't really have any breakdowns below this line. But you know, this is not how to draw trend lines. I don't believe in this type where you connect the dots and you have no overshoots. I don't believe in that. It doesn't have to be that exact. It's more about the overall trend. And NIO too, you know, I draw this trend line, I draw this trend line, you know, it has several overshoots. You know, I mean, you can do trend lines this way, but you know, where do you buy it, right? Why buy it here when you can buy it here, right? You can clearly see it's getting tighter and tighter. You want to visualize the tightness. Oh no, it's a bunch of things. Oh, Kodak is going. Nice. I hope it's not all of you buying it and piling on in this thing. No, I didn't buy Fastly near the highs. No, I bought it just as it broke out of this range here. 80, my average on Fastly is 88.75. This is where I bought it. 88.75. Where is it? Here, right here. This is where I bought it, right here. Now, had I been a bit faster, I could have bought it $1 lower, but, you know, as you remember, you know, I bought it live on the stream. It was just went straight up and I was too slow. Sometimes I'm too slow, right? And I only bought half size because I chased it. You know, I would have preferred buying it $1 lower, but it is what it is. EAT, failed breakout. This is a great looking breakout if you bought it as you should have yesterday when it broke out, you know, yesterday. Same thing with Shake Shack, it broke out yesterday. If you bought it today, you probably need to rewatch the YouTube video. You know, I mean, it's not that hard. Like why do you buy it here, right? When it broke out here, I don't why you know. Yeah, you probably bought it wrong. If you bought it today, you bought it wrong. And if you buy these things right, you won't have these problems. You get stopped out all the time. No explosive move. It had a great looking breakout yesterday. This thing looked absolutely amazing yesterday. Not a momentum leader per se. It's not the type of stock I like to trade, but this is an amazing looking breakout. I would say it's like a 4.5 star chart. 4.5 stars. Shake Shack too. Well, this is definitely not a momentum leader, but the setup was solid. A nice range, and then it built higher lows into this breakout. Got tighter and tighter. Shake E2, you know, it had this range, and then it built higher lows into the breakout. You can clearly see it on the daily chart. It built higher lows for several days, and then it broke out. Very good setup. But yesterday there was no explosive move. I don't get it. Like what? So there was an explosive move today? I don't really know what you're trying to. I mean, yesterday was clearly the breaker. You can clearly see this thing broke out of a range yesterday. Like I don't know why you would buy it today. I really don't understand. You really need to review the, you know, if you bought it right yesterday, you would be at a profit. 5 and 15? Well, don't even look at the 5 and 15. Look at the 60-minute chart. And really, daily chart is all that matters. You really don't even need to use the intraday charts. If you're getting confused by the intraday charts, don't use them. Just use the daily charts. Or at best the 60-minute chart. You never need to look at a 5-minute or 15-minute or any type 1 minute, definitely not the 1 minute. Just focus on the daily charts. You can clearly see when things are starting to break ranges. And then you buy them just as they start breaking, right? Some Tesla. Ignore this. Don't look at the intraday chart. Let's look at here, okay? This is what you should be seeing, okay? Let's say it closes like this today. This needs to be one of your top 2-3 watches tomorrow. Or sorry, Monday, right? Once it starts, well, it's not an ideal setup. It had a better setup here, but yesterday. But, you know, look. As soon as it starts breaking out, that's when you buy it. This is the range, right? You can clearly see it's getting tighter, tighter and tighter. It undercut several times, right? As soon as it starts breaking out, that's when you buy it. Never, you don't even need to look at the intraday chart if it confuses you. Is the market open on? Isn't it? Is the market closed on Monday? It's closed on Monday. It's open. Columbus Day. So is it open or closed? Yes? No? Yes? Open? Okay. Damn, I wanted a day off. Okay, whatever. Wow, JKS, what a beast. I hope this thing hits $100 next week. It's close for David. Columbus had a zero emission boat? Yeah. Alright guys, I'm gonna cut the stream now. I've talked way too much today. I've hit the daily threshold of words. I can't say much more. I have 100 words. I have 100 more words to say rest of the day. My girlfriend is not gonna be happy. Alright guys, enjoy your weekend and have a great weekend. See you on Monday.